Hello everyone, this is Aganea, and starting a playthrough of Late Age Lemuria with some of my friends. This is my first time playing. I figured I would record to go through and learn a lot myself as I experiment. I haven't done a lot of Late Age before, but we'll see. This game, like I said, is with two individuals besides myself, so three PCs, and then we've added NPCs as well. So, Lemuria, as I have seen and is explained, is a pop kill nation that it doesn't recruit. There is no recruitment going on. Instead, you are making things with mages and free spawn. Um, in the game, we have three human players. We have Atlantis with the Bobs. We have Agartha, the meta is not real, and myself, Radiant Dynamics. So, again, we are, as we're looking through this, looking at the nations, and very much as I found out in later games, these ice guards, with this amazing magical ice glaive and high protection, is going to be a large threat. And as we move forward, we'll see how expansion really goes and what our neighbors are. But turn one for Lemuria is very straightforward. I could send out your starting commander. This is Centurion. We went through the walkthrough. They are very strong leaders, high defense, attack, and protection. They're going to be hitting hard in the front lines, and the big also thing is they have fear aura as well with chill. Um, this isn't a terrible starting army. Most difference between these two is this has less hit points but higher combat speed, basically compared to the other Hastus. But just to make sure that my starting army survives, I'm basically spending the first turn reviving another Centurion. With two of these, I found that they really keep the army going a lot more than one. Plus, if you get an opportune strike, you don't want to lose that starting army. So you could expand, but not looking to. Right here, starting out, we have quite a great spot beside of us with this amazing income. Probably looking to capture that quickly, but also not to get too far into thrones. We're playing for 4 throne victory, and you already see one in the cap circle and one over here. So phone distribution is also in my regard, which I feel like is going to make harder to alliance with neighbors as we expand. Well, really, we'll see what's going on there. Again, not much to cover in turn one, and not to go through. You will notice I'm not doing a profit. I'm choosing not to profit for a few reasons. One, uh, I don't want to spread my dominion too quickly. And two, I would rather profit one of my holy threes that I can get later. So again, just when you're looking at what can be summoned, your consoles and your grand lemurs come in at holy 3, and I'd rather profitize one of them to be able to have that holy 4 to be able to do global buffs. But again, not much to think through. Let's jump to turn 2. So Agartha uh, was the only one of the players. Oh, and Atlantis. They both profitize theirs. So you have no meta. The Cave Captain, as a prophet of the meta, isn't real. Staying in theme. Hats off. And Atlantis, I do not think is renaming theirs. So, what does world look like as we're shaping out more? So, being spread, and we have low income, but as you see, I am taking the Centurion I made and moving it out to that really high gold income. Really want to take advantage of that out front. Now, the first turn made a Centurion, but now you see our worm friend here is summoning an Acolyte. The reason why you really want to go and get an Acolyte now is to really help you, because uh, you will be able to then get 2 Centurions every turn after. So this is going to start a little bit slow, but sitting them in patrols of 2, I know some of the better knowledgeable Lemurian players than I recommend it, depending on the situation, but I really do feel that will help them be able to combine fear auras to be able to help with covering and the covering each other. But you also, let's jump in the starting army, got some ghosts. I'm leaving some ghosts here as well for that next army. So again, no, um, next round nothing will be going out because both the thaumaturg and the acolyte that is being created is going to be summoned centurions, but we'll have some ghosts left over, so we'll have about a round and a half of ghosts free spawn to go with our next army. But first, let's talk a little bit about this formation that is going out to this kingdom. I try to place these out a little bit more with having my faster ghost a little bit closer to the front, so when they stop and shoot, they'll be hitting first, and these will be fading right in between, with my centurions to take the soak up front. With late age, with this being more of a heavy cav, this is fine. I want the centurions to kind of take some of the hit, and the ghost to take part of the others. But there will always a worry is ghost. If I ever see, or not ghost, priest. If I ever see priest in the army, I will try to pull back a little bit. But again, the goal here is that the centurions soak at least a hit and be able to get their fear and chill auras going, and the ghosts will be filtering in behind them. One thing I don't think I mentioned is these weapons will have magic resist checks as well for damage. So as we are finding that, just keep that in mind as we go through, that magic resist will play into it as well as protection to resist. But the goal is again to have the centurions here with the ghosts coming right behind them. And that's really it for turn 2. No research happening. My plan is to, talked in the kind of the summary, is to get construction when I can. We start with 2 enchantment, which is fantastic. It will be really easier to go ahead and get up to rigor mortis, but looking for rigor mortis and wailing winds as like the 2 big combat spells with blessings as well. But enchantment also gives you that anti-magic to help with banishment, so really glad to see this enchantment too. But I'm going to be pushing construction and then planning on going into enchantment as well. Not much else to talk about, so let's go ahead and move to round 3. Turn 3. So let's see how that battle went with that heavy cav. So we have the heavy cav coming in, and no priest, which is fantastic. So this is moving faster crews will start throwing out the spectral javelins. These take the hit. Now these should have been a little bit closer because wow, he got hit hard. 10 points and then another 5, so he's already at half life and already taken a never healing wound. Let's speed this up. Top centurion also is already routed, so hit weakened, and you see that their morale has dropped considerably down to 6 as well, but this one centurion is trying to route up top. So the centurion is running off. This one's staying farm. These heavy calves still have not routed, unfortunately, and we're just taking a beating. So there they go. But at this point, round 13, they are sticking in it. So as you see, this is what you do not want to see. Most of my ghosts have already gone. They're finally routing, but it was a heavy hit on our side. So losing quite a bit, about half my army starting out. Thankfully, the centurion was able to retreat successfully, but again, big hits there. We got blood slaves. Yay! Don't see myself again easily breaking into blood, but you never know where these games go as well. So centurion came back to base, and we have our other centurion. That one thing I've always looked to see is where they're getting their hero battles at. So this one is going to be attack skill, not the worst, not the best as well, but that starting army is kaput. But great income we're starting to get that pulled in, and Dominion's flooding into it, so trying to cap that out quickly as well. As you see with the old Centurion, I'm not bringing any ghost here. Looking at this army, it seems very weak, and I want to save all those ghosts I can for the next expansion. I probably should have pulled over a few though, because between these two, what are they really going to have after this province? They're going to hope to hit another weak province, but that's about it. The next Centurion group also not a ton, but this is definitely should have pulled some off because we'll have another turn of free spawn. As I said, the Lemuria and the Acolyte are both bringing Centurions to be able to start a second army. So the other thing is we got a priest. So from experiments, you usually get usually 2 a year from what I've seen. If you have a lab, it can be a mage as well, but here we have a free priest. This will be wonderful as we want to go start temples, but I don't want to start temples too quickly, so I'm just using them to call shadows. One thing I did not realize when I first played Lemuria is you can't preach. Now, it's not saying I would preach now, but not having the sacred option to preach, there was a time where I was trying to bring Dominion in and realizing, nope, I can't. But the other thing is I'm going to having to go ahead and recruit my first indie scout, planning to start forwarding up like I talked about in the summary video, just to go ahead and have those defenses and start getting better free spawn. Because if you don't have a fort, you're going to get very weak spirits. So the last thing I'll touch on in don't believe I mentioned the summary is Lemuria gets death gems per temple they have. So here, in case I'm getting an extra death gem per month, but it's capped out at your Dominion strength. So theoretically, right now, with Dominion strength 6, I could be getting 6 more death gems if I had 6 temples, which will be coming up. Because right now we're just using almost all of our death gems every month, trying to get our armies going. We do see here as well that there is a high income province over to in the water. The unfortunate thing is our domain's already spread a little bit into water, but that will be a big target as well. I'd love to get that gold. So let's go ahead and end turn 3 and start turn 4. So we had another battle. Again, this was with the lower army, and I kept the ghosts back in the same line because I definitely want the Centurions to hit. And no priest again. Wonderful. So they're getting close to the same time, which is what you want to see, with those Centurions being in that same square and doing great. But I almost thought that was a militia hitting, and I was scared to see 17. I was like, what did they roll? So militia's already running, retreating. Wonderful with that fear aura coming in, and much less losses. So here we lost 2. Again, not a large army, but the Centurions really can handle a lot themselves as well. So we summoned 2 more Centurions. We had another unexpected event in Dragonport. Unrest, wonderful, and magic. So this is not what you want to see as well on your first province, having that unrest, dropping that income that we so desperately need as well. So with this army, looking to see what we have, and you see where I finally started pulling up province names. I should have done it earlier to quickly see who my neighbors are. So we run into Utgard, one of the NPCs over to our right. They are already expanding over, but we're already within close to them. I'm going to do a quick glance through. We also have another nation to our south. Acro is not too close, but we have some breathing room. Again, late age you can see much further. But that's all we have. So I was expecting to see, but we have 2 nations in sight here at this point. There is probably going to be another nation in this area, just for how the means like to set up, but not guaranteed. But you see that me turning on and just starting as a scout to try to see who our neighbors are. So back to this is what I was kind of mentioning. You get these, I almost said possessed, disposed spirits without forts. Very weak, if you breathe them, they're going to die. 8 defense. They are ethereal, but no protection, 1 hit point. They can paralyze, and they're undisciplined. So they're not doing a lot without a fort, but you will accrue these without one. So you want to get those forts online ASAP. So I had one spot here being built. I believe I do not. I'm not recruiting another one. Am I recruiting one on the province? Yes. So here is the other scout being recruited in the other province I took. Now, if this was a player nation, I probably would be already having conversations with them, but I'm looking to see what this army can take, and they're really not being able to move too much to be able to help. I see more heavy cav down here. Barbarians should be able to go and take them, but I am going to just make sure that I claim this to protect this fort as much as possible. So I'm going north to cover that. Again, looks like an easy province, and it needs to be easy with this little army, splitting them up. And as you see, keeping it similar, making this more of a box. Probably should have kept it as a line formation, and then the faster ones up front to be able to shoot, and the slower ones in back. In our next starting army, we have the 2 centurions pulling down the ghost. Very large army, and you're going to see it very similar. So I see heavy cav and heavy infantry. What I want is that same thing where I want these to take a little bit of the blow. I want to save my ghost as much as possible, but I quickly want to get the ghost into the fight to be able to stop the heavy cav from overwhelming the centurions. So have these on fire closest and these on attack closest, not holding, just running in as well. The other thing that happened this turn, as you might have saw, is we got a second priest. This does not happen. So we had one priest on turn 3 and another priest on turn 4. That's our luck for the year. But we're spawning shadows, as we're not needing them to build temples yet. A shadow, as you see, has a little bit more health and more defense than one of the spirits that we looked at. Still a paralyzed attack, but they also have dark power as well. So that is the big difference between the two, that you're going to be using them as well. They're also stealthy, which will come up and play into it as well. So what are the mages are going to be doing is doing more centurions. I'm still not done with expanding. I need more centurions in flight, so I'm going to be bringing those out as well. I'm very tempted in this water province. I could have gone through it, but I want to make sure I have my cap circle on land, and this looks like I can take as well. But the plan is to probably to fort up here with defenses and start expanding, making sure I have these 2 provinces before I go too far into water. And we'll do one more turn, and we'll stop at turn 5 as well. So alright, so we'll have 2 fights, and we see a bump. Alright, so unfortunately, we attacked first. So anytime you're bumping, you definitely want the other person to take losses from the indies, but here, let's go ahead and see how the first fight goes. So Centurions and these spawn are coming at about the same time. This is really good. Go ahead and wanted the archers to be hopefully hitting their own allies, but it seems like this was a very clean hit. Centurion not really taking much damage, and this one it looks like took a hit. It's just because a never healing wound. Never mind. So, but looks like very clean as they run off the field. And the armies are out. So we did lose 2. So again, it looked very well, but 2 out of 8, not great. And Centurion routed. I don't think I noticed that when I watched this the first time. Let's look at that again. When is this Centurion? When does he route? So far good. Still okay. It must. I have to assume it was a desync because this does not look like either one routed. Art missed everything. Missed. Yeah. So not even seeing them get hit. However, this is really unfortunate when you have another battle right after. So let's see what's going on with Utgard. So Utgard is bringing in some of their hurlers with boulders. Low morale, and this is something. When I realize this, I'm going to try to take take strength for this because high hit points are going to be trying to push through ghosts. So I really need things to break that morale. You have these. I'm going to mispronounce them, sure. Huskars with low morale as well, and then spearmen. Decent morale with spears. Let's see back here though, and we have their prophet. So we can go ahead and get their blessing. Again, you never know with computer player. It could have maybe it will need. There's a dormant blessed or as well, but right now nothing to really worry about. However, it is a holy three. So we have a holy three with, and now it's saying that there are two. I wonder if it retreated after, just a different showing, but because of this fight. But this is not looking good for Lemuria as the ghosts come in. Now, hoping that we will hit that morale quickly. But here comes banishments, pull the grave. So, just, again, not much ghosts at all. And they are completely surrounded us in turn. He is getting decimated. But they haven't, not really hitting morale yet with their fear checks. So nope, and their gun. And I should have realized that because Sermon of Courage as well. So one died, and we fleed with our pants down. So first one lost 2. Next one, we lose the rest of our starting army. We lose the Centurion. Huge loss there. And there is that. Let's look at our next expander. And as we go on, I'm going to quit pulling these up since you're getting the idea. Here we do have a priest. Really unfortunate. So if we had known about this, we would have pulled our line back more instead of getting banishments off. But you'll notice right here, our lines are going to be meeting close. So we have the Centurions just like we want to take those heavy lances initially to help out, and then ghosts quickly come in. So we already chilled. Morale's getting hit hard. But these banishments, we are in perfect range to that priest just to keep banishing. So we need to win quickly and push this out. So heavy calves, or at least that have retreated. We're getting some ghosts back here for those, but that priest is just laying on banishments. And then, because I attack close, look at them come back. Ugh, they were right there. Come on, ghost. But overall, a sweep through. Indies routed. Looked like I would have guessed 4 that we lost. Yep, 4. Again, hate to see it, but the priest didn't get any at saying, just probably weakened them. But could have been pulled back and not had been quite in the area. So, let's look at this turn. So Utgard, take this province. We bumped. I did not have enough money for another fort. However, I wouldn't be building one here on the line anyway. So we have here our one guy that retreated. And then here we're building a palisade. Still 3 months. We need to protect this palisade. We need to make sure that it is guarded and doesn't drop so quickly. So instead of my other army expanding, I'm reinforcing Dragonport. I want to make sure we do not lose this. So bringing over all the ghosts I have that just spawned and the shadows just to help out with it, because they have a profit. It's not much, but with 3 centurions up front, I'm hoping, and as you see, I pulled these all back. I want to make sure that we're out of range in the profit, especially if they're on cast, to make sure that we can clean up and try to take advantage of that morale hit. But with Sermon of Courage, it's going to be a lot harder as well. And I'm still pushing. One thing I did not cover is I'm using Defense 1 because I really love these acolytes. So Lemurian gets, this is a great time to talk about it. Lemurian gets, with Defense 1, their acolyte, and they're able to go ahead and have that on every fight, but you don't want them to HP route with too many units. So keeping this here to be able to protect our provinces and hopefully routing quickly. So as you notice, all these have Defense 1 in them, and will be able to protect hopefully their lands. But if you increase it, you're really only getting more indies. The main bulk of your army is this Lemuria Acolyte. He's ethereal, high defense, especially in a magic site. It's going to be ethereal, it's going to be able to spawn, he has chill. This is just a great unit just to have PD1. So going to keep trying to just keep it low initially. And so with the one that took this, I was debating to hit my other land, but I decided, because I didn't have enough gold for my next fort, I really need it, I'm going to jump back into the ocean. So, still calling shadows to get units, because this is all this free spawn I got. I'm definitely missing out on ghosts as a whole. And, yeah, so trying to hit that province as well. Still making more Centurions. I am not even close to being ready to stop expanding after this horrible loss as well. And so, yeah. Next time we'll go into, as we continue year one, as the war for Ithgard is starting, as we're still trying to figure out the rest of our neighbors. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video.